a feature film. I do shorts and comedy shorts and stuff like that. So if I could ask, I guess the directors, the people who we had before, if they could come up on stage, we could talk about this wonderful piece. I feel like I should have been dancing during some of that movie. It was so good. The music was so good. And your names? Juliana? And Christian. Nice to meet you. Ron Barba. Very nice to meet you, Christian. Nice to meet you, Juliana. So you both created this film.
Yes. I have no mic.
Here you go.
Hello? Yes.
So you created this film. Tell me.
Yes. So we got there and they were discussing the project and they were getting together as a collective. I mean the musicians.
Who was getting together?
The musicians
Okay.
of that area.
Okay,
They got,
that area.
like the UN just got in there, the UNDP and the Rio Plus Center saying, hello neighborhood, we hear you have some great musicians around and we want to make a project with you.
Okay.
So they were, oh my God, and they got together in a collective and they began to work together, which was new for them. And
So they were getting organized,
yes.
basically. It wasn't like that before. So this
No, it
kind of
wasn't.
helped inspire them to all come together.
yes,
The UN
definitely.
coming in
Yes,
there. Okay.
Yes.
Very nice.
And then the UN says, well, we have to spread some words, which are these 17 goals
Okay.
for a sustainable development. And you could help us out with your music. And they looked at it and they said, well, you know what? We've always talked about these issues, so that would be easy for us. And so when we got there, they were in this process of getting to know each other, I mean the UN and the musicians,
Okay.
and composing, beginning to compose music with these themes, although they had already some great songs about it.
Sure, I'm sure. I mean, that's the thing with artists a lot of times, especially from poverty. Like that's the one note that we see. That one of the themes was poverty, and great art comes from that. Great pain, great things come out of pain. Unfortunately, you have to endure this pain to talk about it and people understand it. And so obviously, even though it was hard to judge from a lot of their faces, they had gone through a lot of pain, or at least the cuts that you took. The one gentleman crying over the person that he had seen. But there's a lot of pain, and so that music was so beautiful, and what they were talking about is like real human struggle. And so I was wondering about the struggle of that. Is it a city? Is Baixada, is it a city, a country? It's a city next to Rio?
Yeah, it's a part around Rio de Janeiro. It's one of the peripheries of Rio de Janeiro.
It's a suburb.
It's a
of it.
suburb, yes.
It's a very poor suburb.
Brooklyn and the Bronx and Staten Island all put together.
Is that what it is?
More or less.
More or less, huh? And the population's what, 4 million, was it?
It's around 4 million.
4 million. And I don't know anything about Brazil, but I've seen that movie City of God years ago, and it's a wonderful film. And again, it showed like the pain in that city. Oh, that was in Rio, right? If that was right.
It was Rio. Yeah.
It was Rio, and so I just assumed from watching this, I didn't see a lot of. I mean, must be a tremendous poverty in this place, and they're trying to figure out how we can better. I mean, it doesn't sound like they're on an equal footing with other cities in the area. Is that why they say they have problems? So the music, the people that have this gift for music, what's their goal? How are they going to get? Is it money, resources? Is it better jobs in the city? How are they? How are these the musicians going to group together to attract more money, to attract more? I guess a better way of life there. What is the plan? Or is the plan, like I said, all these things are written out here, and who's to sustain these goals? Who are the ones that are supposed to implement these clean water, gender equality?
So the governments, there were 166 countries signing a document where until 2030 they had to achieve these 17 goals.
Okay.
So the idea is that the musicians spread this to the communities, so we can ask for the government, like, hey, Brazilian government, are you working on it? So because every government has this responsibility. But, and maybe you want to tell, you can say it better, because the UN wants the people to get involved in it, not
Sure.
only the government. So that's why this project is being held with musicians.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And musicians are like the main thrust of, how do you say it again, Baixada?
Baixada.
Baixada. They're the main thrust of that city. They're like the thing that makes Baixada so proud, that they're saying, let's put it behind musicians. We have a rich culture of music. There's so many different musics I heard. I heard rock, I heard rap, I heard reggae, a lot of reggae. And so obviously it's very powerful there. Okay.
So, my name is Denise. I work at the Rio Plus Center. That is one UNDP policy center, the one that made partnership with the musicians. I was here translating for Iolly, that's the singer that's with us. And Juliana said that it's the governments, but the idea is that this agenda is for all of us. That's what changes the world indeed. So if we're going to wait for the governments to do, probably it's gonna happen, but we have our part on it. And the beautiful thing of this story is that the musicians figure that out, that they have a big part of it, because they can communicate with people much better than we in some papers or some reports can do. So they can sing to people, they can speak it out loud, the suffering, they can speak it out loud, how to change the world. This of never gives up, this call for resistance is what they do the day to day of them. So they just tell us this beautiful story.
I was about to say, like, it's so inspirational. The music that I heard there, I'm not inspired with a lot of music I hear in this country. And I'm very inspired with that kind of music. And that's probably maybe because of just the suffering that they're going through, that they have a different appreciation for life than we might up here in North America, or at least maybe, I don't know. I can't judge for everybody in North America, just where I am, what I see, what I perceive. And so I see them as, when you watch them, you're, like you said, you're very inspired by them. They say things about, they talk about God, you talked about God. There was a few cross themes, like the poverty in our country. There was one of the singers was talking about how women are disrespected. And of course, we just had a terrible thing happen again with women being disrespected. That just seems to be a common theme in North America as well, and all over the world. And he was speaking of it. I thought he could have been a singer from right here talking about this country.
Yeah,
So they cross, the issues cross. It's just that there's poverty there to an unbelievable amount, I guess, than there is in this country, the poorer areas of our country. I mean, is there a difference? Is it the same? Would you know? I mean, how would you know?
Well, I maybe could invite Iolly to come here too, the singer, so we can
Bring
make
the
it.
singer up. Let's bring our singer up.
Yeah.
She was in the film.
So we
She was
can-
singing the film, right?
Yes.
All right. Look at this live performance. It's fantastic.
But what
And her name again?
Iolly Amancio. So Yolanda is her name, but we call her Iolly.
Iolly.
Yes.
Welcome, Iolly. Welcome to the show.
So she will speak better about that.
Okay.
But just answering your question, is this saying that one of the musicians, Renato Aranha, just say, the periphery is the periphery, and it will always be, with some differences here, there, but it will always be having the same problems. We will always be facing all these challenges. It's basically that.
But for the UN to come and come down there, is that a big statement? Because the UN is coming down there, because they representative of the world, they go to areas in need, in dire need, and trying to fix them. Is that what the UN's purpose
Well,
is?
I think the most important of that is that this agenda has the motto of leave no one behind. And if you really want to leave no one behind, you just go to them and say, hey, you guys that are generally behind, just come and speak it up. So it's not a report that's gonna tell who is left behind, it's themselves. So that's the beauty of the project, that's the beauty of the movie, and I guess that's what we want with it, what we intended to really say, that the people are fighting for that in the day-to-day. The governments made agreements, but it's our job. It's not only one person's job, it's really all.
And how long did it take you to make the film? How much time did it take? Months? Years?
Months.
A week?
It was really quick,
It was
actually.
quick. Okay.
We talked with them through a lot of Skype conversations because Christian and I were in Spain
Okay.
and they were in Brazil. So we got there and we filmed in 3 weeks. And then we had 1 month to edit and finalize it. And then we extended to 1 month more. So the post-production was about 2 months, and that was it.
2 months of post-production, and then how long just to film?
3 weeks.
3 weeks to film,
Yeah.
and then 2 months. Wow, you whipped that up in 2-3 months. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful piece, a very nice piece.
Thank you.
What do you hope to get out of it? You guys done a lot of documentaries before? Is this new
This
to
is
you?
our first feature documentary.
First
we
feature
come
doc-
from, like as Christian said before, we are photographers and we come from photojournalism.
Oh,
So this is our first feature, yes.
wow.
And well, the movie has been screened in Mozambique because this is a project that they're going to replicate. They're going to make it in other countries as well.
Okay.
So Mozambique is going probably to be one of the next. So it's also a tool for the other UNDP countries to
Right.
see how Brazil has made it. So it has been passed already in Mozambique, in Maputo, in Kazakhstan, China, and the UNDP centers.
Do you think
of
they'll
these
do
places.
similar themed projects from there, or are you going to be showing this to them?
No, the film has already been showed.
It's already been shown.
Yes, and some of these places are going to develop a project alike this
Okay.
one with local
good.
musicians.
I see. It's interesting. It's as I was watching it, I was thinking, there's so many poverty and I guess drugs and murder that there's a high murder capital, right? Is it or the city had? What did they say about the murder rate there? They were like a what is it? A third of our city, and yet double.
They had like a double homicides rate.
Double homicides.
Homicides
Sure.
from New York, although they had 4 times less the population
4 times
number
less.
of New
So
York.
that's obviously.
It's a tiny city with a huge.
What is it? Say again.
It's like a tiny city, so to say, compared with New York's, with 4 times the rate of homicides. I guess that's the number.
So violence is just incredibly
It's huge.
strong there.
Yeah, it was considered once back in the 80s one of the most violent regions of the world.
Incredible.
Back in the 80s. Now we want to be really known for music.
Right. You can't believe it when you see that film, when you see those people. But it's like I think he said that about not people aren't mean. It's just the conditions, the situations. They're desperate. Things happen when you're desperate. Interesting.
Ask the singer if she wants to say anything.
Yes. Is she going to perform or is she?
Well,
Speak.
I guess you pretty much
Do you have a question for her?
made a question that we could address to her. I think what's unbelievable is the moment you ask why these people are so close to music, and this I would like to ask her.
Okay.
That she tells us why this specific place and region, why there are so many musicians there.
Para você responder por que as pessoas nesse lugar fazem música, por que a Baixada é tão rica.
Bom, a nossa energia vem do nosso dia a dia. Eu acredito que toda a humanidade tem essa ânsia por expor as suas dificuldades, né? Antes de haver história, já havia cultura, já havia pintura nas cavernas. Todo mundo sempre quis passar. Havia música antes da história, né? Acho que a primeira coisa que foi criada por Deus foi a cultura. Foi a arte. Então... sim.
So she's saying that it's kind of natural. It's kind of natural that the first thing that the human being does and have done is art and painting and stuff like that. So it's natural.
E a gente sente que se a gente se calar, acabou. É se entregar para morrer.
So she thinks and feels that if her by herself is quiet, then it's really done. Then we are all dead because she needs to speak up.
Have you
been doing protest songs before the UN encouraged you to do these protest songs, or is it more something you discovered with the UN?
Ah, ele pergunta se você já fazia essas músicas de luta sempre ou se você começou a fazer depois da ONU.
Always. Sempre. Inclusive, hoje, a minha banda tá lançando no Spotify, no iTunes, no Deezer, um CD, um álbum de 13 faixas chamado Somos Todos Silvas, que fala sobre essa questão do desenvolvimento humano, do trabalhador e da mão de obra e do racismo.
So and today it's a big day for many reasons, and her band is with a new album that's called Somos Todos Silvas. That it has a particular meaning for Brazilians because the most common last name in Brazil is Silva. So the name of the album means we are all Silvas, and it is full of protest songs as she always had made them. So she's releasing today, and it's a very important day for her too.
Convido todo mundo a ir lá baixar, por favor.
So please guys, she's inviting you to check this album as well.
Repete o nome de banda.
Her band is called Banda Gente. The collective is called Baixada Nunca Se Rende, né? Same name of the movie. And it's on Spotify and it's called Somos Todos Silva. We are all
In New York?
Silva. Oh, maybe.
Do it next week.
let's speak with her and see her agenda.
Bom, eu trouxe playback, infelizmente não pegou. Podia cantar hoje.
She's gonna sing one song for us now.
That's what we wanted. We wanted to start this.
So she's gonna sing a cappella.
A rede é um bom lugar pro corpo balançar. Com meu filho abraçado, eu só quero é sonhar. Toda tarde eu chego com uma bolsa pesada. O meu filho me abraça, lhe ofereço uma bala que por mim foi comprada no trem dessa batalha que pego todo dia às 5 da madrugada. E a rede balança, e a rede balança, e a rede balança, e a rede balança. E esse meu filho amado já não volta pra casa, já não deita na rede da varanda de casa. Ele foi confundido com os da vida errada. Foi um homem de farda que lhe deu uma bala. Todo dia eu chego com meu fardo pesado. Vejo a rede vazia, na tristeza me embalo. E a rede balança, 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 e a rede balança. Thank you.
What was that about? What was that?
Well,
Beautiful, by the way. Thank you so much.
It's a very sad song at some point, but it says that she was waking every morning and staying with her son in a hammock, so and balancing
Yes.
in a hammock.
That was in the piece. That was in that document.
Yeah, and then the kid was small, and then he grew up, and
in Portuguese that she was bringing him some bala, that's a candy. But it's the same word for a bullet. So the story is that when the kid grew up, someone else gave him a bullet. That was the wrong one. He was, the police or someone thought that he was a bad guy and gave him a bullet. So today, he comes back home, she comes back home, and the hammock is swinging, but not with him anymore, because someone else gave him a wrong bullet. It's kind of like that.
What would you say is the most important thing that you need, talking to a New York audience here, for your country? What is the most important thing? When you thought of the problems in your country, what is the main one that says, if we just have this, we will change to the better life?
Tá perguntando o que você gostaria de falar para as pessoas aqui em Nova York, que seria assim, a principal coisa para mudar no seu país. Se a gente tivesse isso, o que é isso?
Isso falar para eles, o que eles poderiam fazer pelo Brasil.
Não, o que o Brasil poderia mudar?
Bom, o Brasil precisa mudar de olhar. Precisa mudar o coração, abrir, open the heart. Open the heart. Abrir o coração. Open the heart. Precisa entender que as pessoas são iguais. Precisa entender que, por exemplo, a Baixada faz parte da região metropolitana e não é tratada como região metropolitana.
So the Brazilian people and the world in general needs to understand that we are all equals. That Baixada Fluminense is so close geographically from Rio de Janeiro, but what we heard of is just Rio de Janeiro. So we need to understand that it's all something very close and similar. We are all equals.
I think more equality is what we're getting out of this. All right, I want to thank everyone here putting this piece together, the directors. The singing was incredible. The representation, we wish you the best. That concludes hold on one second.
No, just thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, I want to thank you. And guys, thanks everyone for staying, and we wish the best to you and your country and everyone here. Thank you. Thank you so much.